There we go.
What is up, man? So this is our, what episode is this? 32? 35? 33?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So 3-4 years and we're at episode 33. We're averaging like 8 a year. So it's all good, man. We're getting better.
Consistent we've been in a while.
Yeah. It's, you know, a couple episodes. It didn't take a year to come out. So yeah, man, I mean, I'm at home, but you're not at home. What are you doing right now? Tell me the story. What's going on? I
am in New Jersey. Andrew sent me down here by myself for a wedding tomorrow.
That's is that the first time he sent you solo to do it or nah?
Yeah, especially this distance.
Dude. How when did you leave? How long have you been? You just got there.
Yeah, I left at like around 2:30 this afternoon.
I guess it makes, because you guys are an hour and change further north than us. It's like 6 to New Jersey from Boston, but
it should have taken like 5.5. Took like 7 hours.
Yeah,
I hit like every should have on the way.
I don't know if, did we ever talk about us driving to New Jersey for Six Flags previously?
Yeah, I think so.
That shit was like, dude, I don't even remember the trip because I slept most of the way back, but I just remember like waking up every hour and a half and like still being in the same spot on the highway.
Yeah. It wasn't that bad, but it's still bad.
I still don't understand what was happening. Like, was it construction that held us up for like 10 hours?
I think so. Like, by the time we got up to where it was, there's like nothing there.
Jesus Christ. So the moral of the story is don't go to New Jersey.
Yeah. This hotel isn't not the greatest either. So.
I mean, anything's better than that one in St. Albans, dude.
I don't know. This one's pretty bad.
Got some milk water, maybe? Or
I haven't tested the water yet. But all the furniture looked like it was just purchased from Goodwill.
Oh, shit.
The hallway smells like your basement used to smell.
Well, yeah. I mean, New Jersey, dude. All of New Jersey smells like that. Jesus, dude. I mean, whatever, man. Money is money. A little vacation, if you will, for free, I guess. I don't know.
Sunday on the way back is going to be good.
So, and I mean, if you have the free time, dude, you can explore a little bit. What time do you have to be at the wedding tomorrow?
1:30. I got to get some drone footage before then, though.
Dude, drone footage? Andrew's on that drone for weddings?
Yeah.
God damn, dude. How much do you know how much Andrew charges to shoot a wedding?
I'm not sure.
It's got to be a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
Jesus, dude. I mean, I'm in the wrong business, man. I should have learned how to use a camera.
Maybe it's not hard, especially this new one I got.
I have this like app on my phone that's like ProCam, and it has like ISOs and like shutter speeds and stuff, dude. I'm just like move the dials, and I'm like, that looks good, but it ends up being the same photo that I would have taken if I just like auto clicked.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can change the amount of light getting into this iPhone lens. I'm like, cool. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with these, dude. I don't know anything. Oh my God.
Start a business.
Dude. Yeah. I mean, you gotta drive down to shitty New Jersey and drone around all day for some cash, but dude, it's better than anything else. But enough about New Jersey for now. We're gonna a lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since we recorded. Spider-Man came out. A ton of movie news in the sense that like Captain Marvel stuff is finally out. Some news about the DC stuff has come out. It's just been madness, dude. It's like new video games, new movies getting canceled, like whatever it is. So I think we should just jump right into the top 5 because I think it'll segue to the rest of the episode, I think. Because most importantly, this is going to be a lot of superhero stuff because that's basically all of media at this point is superhero. Superhero games, superhero movies, superhero television shows, comics.
Yeah.
Like literally, dude, there's this term that people throw around called superhero fatigue. And every time a new Marvel movie comes out, only Marvel, because nobody gives a fuck about DC anymore. But every time a new Marvel movie comes out, they're like, I have superhero fatigue. And then the movie goes on to make not Justice League, Jesus Christ. Avengers just ended its domestic run at like $687 million, dude, like almost $1 billion. Just domestic. That's like an absurd amount of money. And I've watched Avengers like 11 times. So, and it's only been 6 months. So, clearly I don't have superhero fatigue. No. So let's do the top 5, man. I literally threw it together as I was sitting down, but it was so simple because it's been the same for a long time with like 1 or 2 new additions.
Yeah.
The top 5, superhero specific, not necessarily based on comics, not necessarily based on a movie, just like gotta have something to do with a superhero, whatever that means. So top 5 superhero based video games. What is your number 5?
Number 5 is The Punisher.
The like mid 2000s Punisher?
Yeah.
Was that PS2 era or PS3?
Yeah.
Whoa. I don't really remember it that well. Was that the one where you could just like straight like kill everyone?
Yeah. It's like all the like brutal fucking execution. Putting heads in vice grips and shit. If
you're gonna do a Punisher game, you got to do like over the top, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think Punisher's been in any games anytime recently. Dude, I can't even remember the last time I saw him in anything other than the late 2000s, I guess.
Yeah.
They were like, you gotta no more Punisher. No, like, but now Punisher's hot, dude. He needs to come back into a video game. Like, I don't know what the plans are for like Marvel characters going forward, whatever. But I'd love to see a game where you got to play like Max Payne, gritty ass Punisher, like no holds barred, like give me NC-17, like blowing dudes' heads off. Like I could excuse like bad gunplay, bad story if you just like let me just like blow people's heads off as the Punisher, which, if I'm not mistaken, is what that game was.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so I'm glad. I vaguely remember it, but fuck, there's no better time for a remaster than right now, I guess. So that number 5, Punisher, not even on my list. Didn't even occur to me to be on this list. My number 5 is the only one that's not comic related, but it is technically a hero. It's Infamous Second Son specifically.
Yeah.
1 and 2 were great, super grindy, but Second Son introduced like all of the different like power mechanics, which were, to be fair, dude, launching on the PS4 was fucking dope. A little weird at the end because it's like the Infamous games are just like highly repetitive. It's like same shit. But it was so fucking good. Like it was like the first PS4 game that like actually like blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, like we're living in the future now. And now you look back and I think that game holds up well, but it doesn't look as good compared to like all the other shit that's come later. But Infamous Second Son, man, it was a dope game. 1 and 2 were good.
Yeah, I've only played 1 and 2. I haven't played Second Son yet.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been out for like 4 years. 4 years, dude. I mean, it was a PlayStation Plus title not too long ago, but you can scoop it up for like less than $10. I wouldn't play it now that you've played Spider-Man, because it's basically the same game, like literally the same game, just without Spider-Man powers. But that's it. Well, that's all we'll talk about because there's a lot of other stuff in the mix. Right, what was your number 4?
My number 4 is Injustice.
1, 2, collectively?
I actually still haven't played the second one. I've been waiting on a good price for like the Legendary Edition or whatever.
Fair enough. I dabbled in 2. I put a lot of time into 1. I bought it like 3 times, like 360, PS3, PS4, like, because it was like you can get it for like $10 now, like for any console. Yeah. And every now and then I'll like want to play it. But what a fucking game, dude. What a I like don't dabble in fighters that often, but I obviously like I went to a midnight release for that game at GameStop in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Like, there were like 6 guys there, and they were all like, I mean, I'm a big dude, like I'm a heavy dude, like we're like 500-pound, like acne ridden, like technically speaking, this couldn't happen. Like, ooh, like I don't care, man. I just want to fucking shoot lasers out of my eyes and shit.
Yeah.
And people were, I think people were like down with it, but it didn't go anywhere. It didn't really turn into like a big, like it didn't turn into a competitive fighter because it was too easy to rig. Like Superman was too powerful, like all this other shit. But fucking fun game, dude.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite person that you played with, or?
I don't know. I went back and forth between a lot of people.
Fair enough. I would say if I had to choose, Flash, his like quick combos were the easiest because you could get like multi hits in. But dude, I was like I just like Shazam everything, but I wasn't ever good with him because I didn't like his powers that much. It was like lightning bolt, fly, and like a slam. But yeah, man, Injustice was fire. Injustice 2 is good. The story's a little weaker. It's literally just like rehashing the first one with time travel, but the gameplay mechanics are better and it looks better, which is saying a lot. So the first one looked pretty good. So Injustice was your number 4. My number 4 is a combo between Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. 2 is the better game because 1 is fucking terrible now. But we used to sit at Pat's house in the upstairs bedroom. Remember the side bedroom where Matt would sleep?
Yeah.
We'd play fucking Injustice in there on that tiny ass TV. And that was incredible, dude. That was like the roster, the gameplay was okay. It was like mash the same button and you fucking beat the whole game. But just like the roster was so big, dude. Like you could play as like fucking Luke Cage. You could play as Daredevil. Like people that weren't hot at the time. Like there was no TV show. There was no movies. Like the only movies that had come out were like the first Incredible Hulk movie, the like Eric Bana Hulk movie was the only one that had come out. Like nobody fucking cared, but like, and like deep cuts, dude, like X-Men that you wouldn't expect. Incredible games. They re-released them for the PS4 and they didn't do any like upgrades to them. Like they like cleaned them up a little bit, but the game is the same. And it's so fucking awful to play, especially now. Like it's so bad. Dude, I spent like $60 on both of them. I played like 10 minutes and I was like, just deleted it from my hard drive. I was like, I'm going to pretend like that $60 never happened.
Yeah.
But Ultimate Alliance was fire. What's your number 3?
Number 3 is Deadpool.
I put some time on that one for sure. It's interesting that they did a game, a Deadpool and Cable game, basically, even though he's not like, I think he shows up around the halfway or the tail end, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But then it like becomes like a lot of Deadpool and Cable, and like this was what, like 8 years ago, 6 years ago. That game was fucking button mashy, but the story was funny, and it was, dude, it was the most. We didn't have the movies yet. It was the most Deadpool thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And very much so like Punisher. Like you could just like cut dudes in half, and it didn't matter. And like terrible jokes, and yeah, that was dope. Did you play on the PS3 or did you ever buy the remaster on the 4 or not?
I still have a PS3. I want to get the remaster.
Dude, talk about a game that has stayed expensive. I like keep wanting to pick it up, and it's still sitting at like $30 used for the remaster. And I'm like, I don't want to play it that bad.
Yeah.
like give me like a $10 bin somewhere, and I'll scoop it up. But
yeah,
I wonder if they'll ever do another one, man. I don't know if it was successful or not, but
if they're successful, they might as well.
I mean, Deadpool is like one of the biggest movie properties for that genre right now. And with the new acquisition, man, like who knows, Deadpool could end up in the next round of Marvel stuff. And just like increase his profile, and maybe we'll get another game or a game that has all of them in it, which would be even better.
Yeah.
So Deadpool, thought about putting it on my list. I did not. It was very competitive to make this list because as I was looking at them, there were so many games that it was like, oh my God, I haven't played this in 10 years, but it was like the best game ever. So that was number 3, right? Your number 3?
Yeah.
My number 3 is technically Batman Arkham Knight, but as an umbrella, the Arkham series, because Origins was not good, or neither was Blackgate, but
I didn't play either of those.
you did not miss anything. Origins was a different team, and Blackgate was the Vita one.
Yeah.
And it was trash, 100% trash. But Arkham Knight was fire. It looked good. It played well. The mechanics with like the Batmobile were pretty dope. But they were all so good. Like ultimately speaking, like without Batman, that franchise, without the Arkham franchise, without Rocksteady and everyone, like there's no Superman.
Yeah.
Superman. What am I saying? Spider-Man. Spider-Man. There's no Superman games right now. We don't acknowledge those. So yeah, the Batman series, but specifically Arkham Knight. What's your number 2?
My number 2, Spider-Man.
Also my number 2. But in parentheses, before, if this had been 2 weeks ago, I would have put Spider-Man 2, the old one.
Yeah.
Which was like the really good one, the one that like really introduced being able to like web sling through New York and like just get fucking reckless with it. 100% Spider-Man. And I don't want to talk about it too much because I think we should talk about it afterwards.
Right.
But we're in agreement that Spider-Man is number 2. And then number 1, what's your number 1?
Number 1's Arkham Asylum.
All right. Just because, there was nothing else like it when that game came out.
Yeah. So good.
And
the 3 games are good.
Yeah. Dope story. At the time, it looked incredible. They held up pretty well. The story was great. Like I actually cared. I was like, this is really dope. Like, and then I remember when I beat the first one, I was like, well, fuck, like I need to play another one now.
Yeah.
And it was like a couple of years later when we got it, and I was like, holy shit. Yeah, the Batman games were just so good.
Yeah. It's another remastered set that's always so expensive.
Yep. I've like wanted to rebuy it, but I knew that Spider-Man was coming. I knew that I wasn't going to play both. It was like one or the other. And I knew if I played Batman too much, I would not be able to play Spider-Man as much because they are so similar.
Yeah.
But Batman is fire. My number 1 is an OG throwback, the X-Men arcade game, dude. The side-scrolling beat-em-up.
Yeah.
That was my shit. I won't claim to be good at it, but I've put a lot of quarters into that machine. Mostly like Fun Spot, or like it literally, like I could be, dude, any scenario where there's an X-Men arcade machine that works, like I will stop what I'm doing. Like I gotta take a shit, like I'm about to crap my pants. There's an X-Men arcade machine. I can buy new pants. Let me just get all the quarters out before I stop. House is on fire. There's an X-Men arcade machine in the hallway. Looks like they're gonna find my corpse. Like I don't give a fuck. Like always X-Men arcade. And I would give anything in the world for them to remaster and just throw that bad boy like on the PS4 with just like sharpen the graphics up a little bit, sharpen the controls up a little bit, and just I would literally pay like $40 for it, which is absurd because it's not worth that at all. But yeah, X-Men Arcade is incredible, and I wish that more people had those machines. I wish that I could afford one.
That was
X-Men. So X-Men Arcade, number 1, OG, going way back to everyone's childhood. But I'm glad that we had Spider-Man in the same spot because obviously we've been playing Spider-Man since it's been out for a week now.
Yeah.
I have put a fuck ton of time into it. I have not beaten the main story. I'm really close. I can tell that I'm really close. I know where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I've just spent so much time just swinging through the city, stopping crimes, which is a little repetitive, and just like backpack challenge, Taskmaster challenge,
Yeah.
Whatever it is, dude. I've spent so much time in it. What do you like? How do you feel about Spider-Man? I feel like I saw that you beat it already.
I beat the story. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Have you gotten into the side missions much, or were you just like flying through the story?
I did a good amount of the side stuff, but once I got into the story, I just wanted to keep going.
It's wild, dude. I guess for anyone that hasn't played Spider-Man or will want to play Spider-Man shortly and you haven't played, I guess like skip forward 5 minutes, and if it seems like you've gone too far, backtrack a little bit. The story is set, I think, in the perfect time frame where I didn't want to play as Tom Holland Spider-Man. I didn't want to play as Tobey Spider-Man, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Visually and age-wise, it is like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, not really based on that story, but like that frame of person.
Yeah.
Which is nice, like, because I like that when you're playing it, you've already established yourself as Spider-Man. You didn't we didn't have to do the origin. You didn't have to do like taking the photo of Mary Jane getting bit by the spider, waking up the next day and you're fucking hanging from the ceiling. Like, I didn't want to play any of that. Like, if you know Spider-Man, you know that story already. And like having it just skip forward, it just like you literally start the game and you get through like that brief tutorial that shows you how to do like the swinging and shit, and it's just like roam the city now.
Yeah. Straight right into Kingpin.
Yeah, right. That's right. Like learn how to fight the controls, and then now here's a boss fight. And it's so funny because when I started playing, I didn't find it hard, but it took a little time for me to like get through that cleanly. Yeah. And now I like look back and I'm like, I feel like if I tried to do that fight now, it would take me like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
One, because I'm like super powered up, but two, like I mentally just like I'm always pressing circle to like jump over stuff. But so you finished. I'm far enough along that I don't know how it ends. I have a good idea of how it ends. I'm literally wrangling everyone up from the raft escape. I know I have to be at the end.
Yeah.
I fought Electro. I fought Vulture. So the thing that I think is the most interesting or the most fun is like, out of all of the characters that you play as, like, so you can play as Peter, you can play as Mary Jane, and you can play as Miles. The Mary Jane missions were like, they were okay.
Yeah.
I didn't really care about them. Like literally, it's just like filler. Like, here's another 20 minutes of game.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like sneak around, take a photo, get out. Sneak around, grab the case, get out. But the Miles missions were dope. One, because like obviously like he's not Spider-Man yet, but like knowing that he is going to be Spider-Man at some point.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't know this, but I do know that at the end, he gets bit and Peter lays it out and is like, yo, I'm Spider-Man. And then like that is probably going to set up some sort of sequel, because I don't think Miles is supposed to be in the DLC. But dude, Spider-Man 2 in 4 years maybe. Just same game, just with Miles, and have Peter be either dead or retired. Either one.
Yeah.
Would be dope. And then you could tweak it a little bit more, because like his powers are different, his character's different. You don't have the same mechanics. Like there's no Aunt May, R.I.P. There's like all this other stuff. Like, but the Miles missions were good. And then like, I guess my only complaint is the trailers all made it seem like you were just going to be like fighting bosses on the street at all times and like running into them. But there's like a chunk in the middle of the game where if you even exclude side missions, you like don't fight anyone for a long time. It goes from like the Electro fight or whatever, or no, the Shocker fight, not Electro. The Shocker fight, like in the bank or whatever, like all the way to fucking Mr. Negative, like hours later.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a Spider-Man game. Like, why am I not like punching fucking people in the teeth, dude? Like, I'm running errands and fixing circuit boards for Doc Ock.
Yeah.
but the progression, like when he's like in the very beginning where you start playing and like whatever, and you're like helping Dr. Octavius, I was like, oh wow, like he's not Doc Ock yet. That's really cool if they didn't do that. And then at the halfway point, you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
They're doing it. Like they're gonna turn him in, and like there's that around probably the 80% mark where you go to help him and he's got the fucking arms on, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to kill this dude at some point. Like Peter, I was like, God damn, dude, he can't catch a break, you know. People are dying, Miles' dad is dead, like people are upset, Mary Jane's leaving him, and now he's like one mentor in his life besides Mr. Lee, who's they didn't even hide that he was a villain. Like you meet him and you're like, oh, it's the guy from the trailer. That's the bad guy. Like I couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't believe that the trailer actually spoils the fact that Mr. Lee is Mr. Negative.
Yeah.
Like because you see him and he looks the same.
Yeah.
And so you meet Mr. Lee in the game, and I was like, oh, that's the bad guy. I was like, that's the bad guy who's supposed to be beating. Like, why are we friends?
Trying to make it look like he's the main guy. Maybe that's why.
Which was also weird that like really you fight him like twice, 3 times maybe. And you spend more time like fucking stopping, you know, carjackings and shit than you do anything else. So that's my complaint, I guess, is like there's not nearly enough bad guys when you have an entire, you know, 70-year span of incredible villains. You put the Sinister Six in there. You put these other potentials, like, but you fight them like maybe for 30 minutes in the entire game. If you had to assign a rating though to Spider-Man, I guess out of 5, like 5 stars, what would you give it?
Probably 4 out of 5.
Are you looking forward to the DLC? Will you play it just whenever, or are you like, when it comes out, are you gonna like snag it?
I might wait. I don't know what exactly it is yet. But
The first one is supposed to be Black Cat filling in that entire missing portion of the game where you chase her down and it doesn't go anywhere.
okay.
Which should be interesting because I thought that was going to go more than it did. Like you take all the photos and you find her little spots, and then at the end it's like, oh, she stole her shit. She's back she's back out. You're like, okay, cool. Like didn't get anything, but you get that dope suit though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect you to have a favorite suit, but do you have one that you liked more than the others, like visually?
I use the Iron Spider most of the time.
I mean, that power was dope. Being able to like have the arms come out and just like kick everyone's ass.
Yeah.
I've been hooked on the like really muscular, the one that gives you like quad damage when you do and you just like one hit anyone basically. That one's been sharp, but then also the Spider Punk, if you will, was pretty dope. But it's like the power is like a little janky, but it's just so dope. Like just flying through the air and like with the Liberty spikes and the mask and like the jean jacket and all that other shit. But yeah, man, you give it a 4 out of 5. I'd give it probably a 4.3 out of 5. It's not perfect.
All right.
It's far from perfect, but it's by and large one of the best PS4 exclusives I think that have ever come.
Yeah.
If God of War wasn't the same year, I feel like you would have a better contender to be Game of the Year, but I really don't think anything's going to topple God of War when it comes to the end.
Yeah.
Which I'm also waiting on DLC for because I desperately need more God of War.
Yeah.
If you had to choose a Game of the Year at this point in the year, would you go Spider-Man? Would you go God of War? Is there something else you played this year that you think is sitting highest above all?
It'd be God of War. Probably Detroit as second.
Oh, did we talk about Detroit at all?
A little bit. I hadn't finished it.
Okay. Well, I mean, everyone's game is different, basically. So,
yeah. So many possible things you can do. So.
I've replayed it like 2.5 times. There's like a certain point where I'm really happy with it up to that point, and then because you can see the branches from there, I beat it once, had a terrible outcome, like literally the worst outcome you could get. Like I was like Googling afterwards. I was like, well, what are the options? Like, where did I make this mistake? And people are like, you're really fucking bad at this game if you got these separate outcomes. And I was like, well, I got that one, and I got that one, and I got that one. Wow, I'm really fucking bad at this game. And so I went like way back, chapters back, restarted, better outcomes, but still like not the ones that I want. So now I'm like, I'm cheating. I'm using a guide to like get me to those points.
Yeah.
Because like literally the smallest thing, dude, 10 chapters back can like fuck you at the end, and you're like, okay, well I shouldn't have farted in chapter 2, like whatever it was, or oh, I should have said bless you to the lady that sneezed on the bus, and now she's got a fucking gun and she's gonna blow my head off for it. Like whatever insanity, dude. I really want to unlock all the things, but I don't have that kind of commitment or time.
Yeah.
But Detroit has been dope. Not game of the year because it is very slow at times. Like the walking simulation part where you're just like, holy fuck, can this go any faster? Or like when you're as Marcus and you're like looking for Jericho, and I don't know if you've gotten that far. Yeah. And you have to like find all the signs on the walls. I was like, dude, this needs to be 100 times faster.
Yeah.
And then when you replay, there's no faster way to do it. And I'm like, I already know where I'm going, but I still have to scan the signs, even though I could just like beeline right for the ship or whatever, like whatever. Yeah, so I think everyone's in agreement that God of War will be up top until Red Dead comes out and topples everyone.
Yeah.
Which is a few short weeks away, I think, like November. So 6 weeks. I'm not ready, dude. I need to have beaten every other game that I own at that point because Red Dead will be like #1. And I think if we ever are gonna do like live video game content, I think Red Dead is the one to jump on. Whether it's Twitch, whether it's Let's Plays, because my ass is just gonna sit at home and play Red Dead for fucking 13 hours a day like I did with the first one.
Yeah, I'm down for
that. And I think there'll be an online component too, which may or may not be like GTA. If it is, okay. If it's not, even better. Because the online for the first one was not bad. I played a shit ton of poker with people. Didn't win, but I played it. But that's all video game stuff. The last thing I wanted to do, because this has kind of happened recently, was, so if you've been following any of the DC Marvel news, one, Captain Marvel, the initial like stills and like synopsis is out. I don't know if you got a chance to look at that yet.
I've seen a couple pictures. I don't know if they're the ones that came out recently.
Did you see the picture of, there's like one from a long time ago, and then there's a recent one of Sam Jackson. They de-aged him to be like a younger
I think I saw that.
SHIELD agent, and dude literally looks like he's 22. Like between chopping 40 years off of Sam Jackson and Captain Marvel, chopping fucking 60 years off of Carrie Fisher in Star Wars, bringing fucking Tarkin back from the dead. Like, I don't know what I don't know what Marvel and Disney have, like what's in their water, but dude, it's just like it's so uncanny, like how good they're de-aging, or Michael Douglas and
oh yeah,
and like fucking literally looks like they shot it 30 years ago. I'm hoping that by the time that I'm 60 and I look like a wrinkled thumb, that we'll be able to just put like hollow glasses on, and you'll be able to apply like a Snapchat filter that makes me look like I did when I was 25. And like, but then if you take the glasses off, your eyes burn, so you have to put them back on. Because at that point, the sun will be so close to the earth that we'll all be melting, and we'll all need like SPF 1000 and hollow glasses, and we'll just be able to program them to do whatever you want. Like, Chris is a hot chick now. Swipe. Like, done. You know, no questions. The sun just fucking melts you if you go outside. But yeah. So Captain Marvel looks like a trailer is gonna drop next week, and if it does, it's game over for anything DC related this year, just because DC is cracking at the seams right now. The unofficial official word is that Ben Affleck has been in rehab for a little bit. They're not sure if he's coming back. People are saying no. The director's saying yes. I think at this point it's probably in the air. But then, so Shazam and Aquaman are coming at the end of the year, and so Shazam is this really massive character for DC if they do it right. And they wanted to have this Superman cameo because on paper, one of the only people in the world that can beat Superman in the right parameter is Shazam.
Yeah.
And they wanted to have like a Superman cameo, but like Henry Cavill, however you want to say it, like couldn't do it, wouldn't do it, didn't want to do it, whatever it is. And like now there's like this beef between like DC Warner Brothers and like his management, and it looks like he's not going to be playing Superman anymore. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, I looked it up when you texted me the other day. It's
pretty wild. Like they've made a handful of movies. Arguably the only good one, not my opinion, but on paper the only good one was Wonder Woman. Justice League was questionable. Man of Steel was okay. They've been okay. Wonder Woman was fine, is what people tell me because I didn't finish it. But I turned it off like 25 minutes in. It's like, I can't handle this. I'm all for, superpowered females and let's get it, we're a team aspect, but dude, it was so fucking hokey. I was like, I can't watch this. I read the Wikipedia. What's up?
So that's like the worst part of the movie is the beginning.
Yeah. I read the Wikipedia synopsis and I was like, well, I know what happens, but I don't want to watch it. Does that make me sexist? Maybe. I don't know. But she was great in Justice League, so I don't think it was her. I think it was the movie. So let's say Batman and Superman are out, right? You have a Batman solo movie coming up. I don't know what the fuck's coming after Aquaman and Shazam. I think it's supposed to be Flash and then a Cyborg movie. And then Wonder Woman 2, which doesn't need anyone. But I'm going to put you on the spot and say, if you had to recast Batman and Superman in the moment now, who do you think could pull it off? There's people that are swirling around these parts that are being suggested for it, but if you had to choose a new actor to play Batman and Superman, I know this is hard. Who would you choose? Or would you just let him be and just say, we're done here?
Oh, you gotta do something with it. I don't know.
Right.
I'd have to look at actors on IMDb or something.
So to give you some context, the rumors for Batman are, this isn't a real rumor, but this is the one that I want to be true, or I think could be true or should be true, or I would love for it to be true, but it's really not, is that Christian Bale would just come back. I don't know what he's doing right now. It's probably not Batman levels of money, so maybe he's desperate. I don't know. But if they could just convince him to come back and just pretend like Affleck didn't happen, Christian Bale had fucking emphysema, some incurable lung disease. That's why he sounded like that, but now he's better. And now he's back. Give me Bale. That would be dope.
Yeah.
Because he's older, much older than he was then. The Batman they're playing is much older than the Batman that he was playing. So it's done, dude. Christian Bale, locked in. Dig Heath Ledger up from the grave, throw some paint on him, and kick Jared Leto out of the Joker role, call it a day. But there's a couple people that are actually vying for this potential. So Batman could possibly be John Hamm. It's similar to Ben Affleck, where it's I guess it works, but I don't think it should work.
Yeah, I don't see that being very good.
Just from here down, I mean, he's got the chin, he could be Batman, but the voice is wrong. Bruce Wayne is supposed to be good looking, but John Hamm is it's a different, he's not a chiseled dude, he's just I don't know, man. He's Don Draper. It'd be like if Don Draper put on a Batman mask. But you know, we saw that John Hamm could pull a solid action movie. His part in Baby Driver was great.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe he was a shitty Batman. An alternate choice would be, now that Game of Thrones is winding down, Kit Harington as a mid to late 20s curly-haired British Batman. Anything's possible these days, I guess. I think if he just keeps the Jon Snow look, like give him the long curly hair like bursting out of the fucking eye holes of the Batman cowl, give him the thick British accent, I'd 100% be on top of that. Like, Bruce Wayne is now a 28-year-old British dude. Like, fuck it, let's do it. It's got to be better than what we've gotten. But alternative to that, so you have Superman. One of the biggest ones that's kind of floating around right now and is probably the most unbelievable of this entire bunch, even more so than Christian Bale, is that Michael B. Jordan, dude, could be the next Superman.
I saw that.
I think it's weird because the Marvel DC flip-flopping, like where people leave one franchise and then join the other, is like pretty common. Whether it's directors, whether it's, you know, behind the scenes, whether it's actors. But dude, Michael B. has had 2 cracks in the Marvel universe. All right, one really shitty one really good one. Like, do they pick it? Does DC pick him up? Like, we're not doing anything more with Killmonger. He's gone. What if Michael B. was the next fucking Superman? Like, and what if they didn't acknowledge at all the difference in skin color? Like, everyone else is the same, dude. It's still whoever's playing Lois Lane. What's her name? Not Jenna Fisher. Jesus Christ. Amy Adams.
Yeah.
Like, Amy Adams doesn't say anything. She's like, oh my God, Clark, I've missed you so much. Wonder Woman's like, did you go on vacation? You're looking awfully tan now. Michael B's like, hell yeah, I did, bitch. So there's Michael B, who he has the acting chops. I would love to see just the sheer insanity of, like, not only has he played 2 Marvel characters, he's like the least Superman person on Earth. Like, he doesn't have the hair. He's like not a Superman guy, but I would literally love to see that happen.
Yeah.
That would be one of the craziest twists in, like, movie history. Like, fucking Michael B is the new Superman, and they're kicking Henry out. Like, you got to go. Like, Killmonger now, bitch. Another one that's going around, which is ironic because it's he also tried to get into the Marvel universe, is John Krasinski.
Oh yeah.
Which is not my top choice or any choice, but he did audition to play Captain America. It didn't happen. Now that Fantastic Four is back in the Marvel stable, there's talk of him being Reed Richards. Like, he could be Reed Richards and Superman, dude. You have the strongest guy in DC history and arguably the smartest guy in Marvel history. That would be an incredible setup.
If you were to play anybody, I could see him as Shazam, but not as Superman.
Not as Superman. I mean, I haven't watched it yet, but people are saying that his Jack Ryan on Amazon is, like, action-packed and legit. So maybe he can do, like, the big buff badass dude. Like, I don't know. I doubt it, though.
Yeah.
So those are the rumors. No real validity, but just saying. If you could choose one Marvel actor to play either of those roles, do you have any suggestions? Like, doesn't matter if they're current, past, future, like whatever. Like, you could lift anyone out of the Marvel universe to revitalize DC. Are there any options in there for you?
I could
know it's a hard one,
I could see Chris Evans doing either of those.
I would like that. I mean, he'll forever be Cap, but just, I mean, in a similar situation, man. He had his two. He was a terrible Johnny Storm, Johnny Blaze, whatever the fuck you want to call him.
Yeah.
Technically should be, it's like Sue and Johnny, different last names if you want to get technical. I think because wasn't it Sue Storm and Johnny Blaze were the Fantastic Four?
I think so.
But they are brother and sister. I've never understood that, actually, now that I think about it.
Wasn't one of them adopted, at least in the last one?
Good question, man. Looks like Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider. What the fuck is his name? I'm literally having to look this up right now. This is incredible. Human Torch, right? What's his actual name, though? Johnny Storm. It is Johnny Storm. So Johnny Blaze has always been Ghost Rider. Interesting. I've learned something new today. Great. I don't really remember Fantastic Four that well, so I was never a huge fan.
It's forgettable.
Very forgettable, all 17 times. But yeah, man. I mean, we've covered a lot of comic book stuff, a lot of video game stuff. Is there anything else going on in the world, personal, movie, that you want to talk about, or you want to cut this one short? It's not short. It's been like an hour, but
yeah, not too much else going on.
All right, man. I mean, I'm free next week. I don't know. I don't have any top 5 ideas. Well, we can just wing it like we always do. But yeah, I mean, maybe something crazy will happen at the wedding, and we'll come with stories next week. Like maybe the drone fucking crashes and it catches in someone's hair. The blades are whirring, but the engine's giving out, dude. The battery explodes. It's brutally scars the bride. She freaks out, panics, jumps into some water. Turns out she can't swim, especially now with a long gown on. You jump in, save her, but in the act of saving her, you actually apply a choke and you choke her to death. And then there's no more podcast because you're in jail. That'd make a great story, dude. We could just record right from the payphones. Andrew's like, I don't know who this guy is. I've never talked to him before. He most certainly was not working for me. I had the flu, so
yeah. I'll have plenty of time to record if that's the case.
Just start filling in with other people while you're in jail, I guess, man. So, all right, man. I'll let you go because you, unlike some people, actually have work to do tomorrow. But I hope New Jersey treats you well. If you get a chance to stop by the stash, I mean, at least drive by it.
Yeah, I'm going.
Throw a brick through the window if you want. I don't think anyone will notice. And we'll be back here hopefully next Friday, record a new episode with some new content, and hopefully I will finish Spider-Man by then. I doubt it, but hopefully.
You're pretty close, so you should be all right.
All right, man. I'll catch you later.
All right. Okay, bye.